Hi there, just read this disclaimer please.
Alright there people, it's been a little while, so I thought I'd give you an update on what I did. You know, I always run hot and cold on these YouTube videos, so actually some of these actions were literally the day after my last video. I did the rest of the Fundsmith switch, sold the Fundsmith holding and bought the rest of the portfolio just in proportion, so it's not really changed the portfolio, it's just made it bigger. And obviously we've had lots of share price fluctuations in the portfolio as well. So just for the record, here's what it looks like now. We're back up to like 25 grand. The whole holding is now all in trading 212 in the individual companies, plus you know the usual stuff that differs from Fundsmith. I did the whole lot because I didn't have enough cash in the ISA to do it all in the ISA, but I just didn't want loose ends, to be honest. So what I've done is I've put these holdings here, I've put those amounts into the Trading 212 Invest account. And I mean, the beauty of this is all it costs is 0.3%. So it's just 0.15% currency conversion each time you sell and then buy again in the ISA. It's nice because you can do it in small amounts and it doesn't make any difference because, you know, there's no fixed amount each time you buy or sell. So I will just gradually sell these holdings and put them in the ISA just based on the dividends that I receive in the Trading 212 ISA. I use the cash there to sell these ones that are outside, buy them inside. So yeah, I've got the whole lot of Fundsmith now. So here it's just Fundsmith-ish, and I no longer have to track the price of the fund itself. And the next thing I did was I purchased that £3 that I added to the portfolio in the last video. I decided to put in HEIT, which is Harmony Energy, which currently, as I mentioned, it doesn't currently pay a dividend, but I just feel like it's a good recovery. It could be a good recovery. It's one of those that was on a massive discount. I haven't actually checked it in a while, so shall we have a look now? You might notice here I've got a new laptop. Had an absolute disaster. Spilt like 500 millilitres of water on my old laptop. So I'm not keen on this new one, but because it's cheaper and it's got an American keyboard, so I've decided that I just need to remember where the pound sign is and the at sign is. So yeah, it's hit me budget. I think in October, I kind of track my yearly spending from November. Yeah, it's November actually, not October. From November to November. So in November, I might do a little video showing you guys what I spend my money on and why I spend so little. So yeah, Harmony Energy is, so yeah, at the moment 44% discount to NAV, but as I've said before, these NAVs, who's to say whoever does the independent valuation of the assets is right? But either way, you can see I actually purchased this at quite a bit of a recovery. If I'd managed to buy here, it's something like 50% up from there to when I bought. I can't remember the exact numbers, it was a while ago. But yes, bit of a recovery play. But as you can see, it's made modest gains in the month that I've owned it, roughly. And then this is just kind of procedural, really. Putting Merchants Investment Trust into the ISA from the iWeb General Investment account. This move here was just me putting a bit of my cash into ERNS. So that's the money market for all. I can't remember what it's called exactly, but it's basically just a cash alternative to get an interest rate. I put a couple of grand into it. This move here was I took a couple of grand inside the ISA, the Trading 212 ISA. I took a couple of grand out of Barclays and NatWest and I put it into Impact Healthcare REIT. I don't do much fundamental analysis, but oh well, as you can see, it's doing really badly today. 1% down overall, but it's just a care home REIT, owns the buildings. It seems to have a well-covered dividend, and things seem to be on the up. To be honest, I did know more about it at the time I invested, but I'm struggling to remember the exact details of what I liked about it. But you know, you don't come to me for great insights, do you? It's a diary, not a how-to. But it's got, as usual with these things, it's got quite a hefty yield, which I have accounted for a 40% drop in the yield. So if we take off my pessimism, it's a yield of about 8%, which is pretty hefty. Oh yeah, so and then the last one here is actually them just telling me that a transfer had worked, because I did a transfer from Hargreaves Lansdown general investment account into my Trading 212 invest account. So, and it all went pretty damn smoothly, to be honest. It all just happened in about 2 weeks. Yeah, in fact, it was 2 weeks exactly. And so now, if I want to move these two, well, sorry, it wasn't. It was Barclays and GSK. So them two now are 100% in my Trading 212 account, because previously only part of the Barclays was in there in the ISA, but now I've got an ISA holding in Trading 212 and an invest account holding there as well. So they're easy now to rebalance, because that's one of the things I was thinking of doing, because my portfolio, these are kind of my personal choices, the ones in blue. But as you can see, they're all a bit heavily weighted towards my legacy holdings. So for instance, at some point, I might want to some extent, equalise the GSK and the Pfizer holding, so that my two healthcare holdings are a bit more balanced. And I mean, doing that kind of rebalance at the moment would boost the income slightly, because one's about 4% and one's about 5% yield. And then I was also thinking about doing a bit more of the banks into real estate rebalancing that I've already done. So I was also pondering this home builder, because I mean, one of the reasons I liked the Impact Healthcare REIT is because it's homes. Because all you ever hear in terms of commercial properties is that the internet's making commercial, like shops and offices, redundant. And so it's like, but there's loads of people in the world, so like, how do you get exposure to where people live? By buying REITs, and like, obviously that's one of the ways is healthcare, and apparently the demography of the UK is getting such that they expect there to be lots of like 85. One of the charts in the annual report of Impact Healthcare was talking about the projections for the over 85s or the over, I can't remember these age groups, but it's about those demographics having, they've got stored up aging in the population. That sentence didn't make sense. And then there's another one that's related to homes as well. There's this PRS REIT who build homes and then rent them out. So I don't know though. But yeah, I've got my eye on that one. I'm thinking perhaps if that one went back down to 6% yield at some point, maybe I'll dip my toe into it. My next thing that's coming up is in I think about a week or probably around the 25th, my SIP bonus might come through. And looking at the stuff that I've got outside of tax shelters here, I'm not quite sure what it'll be, because looking at that, I've got two contenders there, because obviously all these ones stay in Trading 212. So even there's a 15% rise in Apple there, that stays in Trading 212. And I mean, another thought in my head was that if I'm gonna move, that's Schroeder Oriental Income, that is, and it's quite a small holding, which has actually had a good little run recently. That's why it's kind of equal with merchants in the percentage gains. So I was thinking about perhaps like maybe putting it into Murray International and Hint. They've got a higher yield. It would neaten up my portfolio, and I think they're also at a bigger discount as well than Soy. Yeah, about 5% discount. And if we put that money into Henderson International, that's almost a 13% discount. So I'm thinking I might do that, but the problem is the amount of cash in my SIP isn't enough to do it in one go, so I'd have to do it in separate accounts. So who knows? Not sure. It's just another ponderment. Alright, I think that's it then. I think I'll see you next time.